Hey, this is the Underdog, aka the German Viking, and I came across this article from stuff.co.nz. So it's a New Zealand site, and it was published 2 days ago. And I wanted to cover this story because it seems what is happening in New Zealand isn't actually is far from over. It seems. And Jacinda Ardern, the Prime Minister, she calls for a global effort to shut down online hate speech. So I'm gonna read this article, but this just sounds like a lot of nonsense to me. Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern has called for a coordinated global effort to tackle online hate speech. Again, what is hate speech? Define it. Is it just speech you don't agree with? Because that's what I hear every time these people want to regulate speech online. It comes after Facebook announced it would tighten regulation by banning posts, photos, and other content that promotes and support white nationalism and white separatism. Why isn't Antifa blocked? Why isn't the Black Nationalist, Black Panther blocked? Yeah, the hypocrisy is real. Speaking in Christchurch on Thursday, ahead of Friday's remembrance service for the victims of the terror attacks, which is horrible. I don't even have to preface this, but the attack there was horrible. Ardern applauded the move by a social media giant, but said there was more work to do. What? How is the censorship that is currently happening by Facebook, Twitter, Google, YouTube, and even sites, PayPal, Patreon, how is that not enough? How? There's certainly going to be they're going to retract into corners into the internet where you can't regulate that speech, and it's going to get worse. That's what happens. When you push someone, they're going to push back harder when they're backed into a corner. Given that Facebook already has rules which ban hate speech content subject to the new prohibitions, should always have fallen within existing guidelines, I understand. I mean, they ban memes. I got banned for posting there was a woman who spelled basically a woman getting violated, but she wrote it in the wrong. Well, it could be interpreted she was advocating for that, and so I made fun of that, and that was according to Facebook hate speech. I got banned for a day. So they don't even have humor. I mean, jokes are considered hate speech by Facebook. I'm pleased to see that they are including it and that they've taken that step, but I still think that there is a conversation to be had within the international community about whether or not enough is being done. I'm going to pose this. When is it ever enough? When are enough people banned? When these people are satisfied? Because it's never going to happen. 1984 wasn't a manual, it was a warning. There are lessons to be learned here in Christchurch, and we don't want anyone to have to learn those lessons over again. What lessons? This is very ambiguous and vague. The Australian government is looking to introduce legislation to penalise social media companies if they do not restrain the spread of extremist material, with Ireland, Germany and others also hoping to bring in measures to reduce harmful content, and that's going to limit freedom of speech. Do these people not realize there's going to be a massive backlash? People are just look at France. When people have had enough, you're gonna notice it when people go to the streets, because that's what's going to happen when you keep on inflicting on people's rights and freedom of speech. Ardern said the proposal will reflect the broader international community's view that more needs to be done to resolve the problem we face while preserving a free, open, and secure internet. That's a paradox. You can't have a free and open and a secure internet. You can either have a free and open internet, or a secure or watched over internet that is limited. You can't have both. She said, "I do believe that New Zealand has a role to play in this debate and in much needed reform. I focus on working collaboratively, finding meaningful solutions. Ultimately, we can all promote good rules locally, but these platforms are global. I believe, therefore, the solution will need to be too. There is still more work that we can do together. I include in that those platforms like Facebook, but also the international community. A number of nations have now been making their own individual moves, but I think there would be a benefit for there being globally a coordinated response." So she's literally advocating for a globalist response to hate speech. Wee lad. The government is now finalizing the terms of reference for Royal Commission of Inquiry into the actions by the security agencies ahead of the attacks, the Prime Minister said, and is in the final stages of narrowing a potential inquiry lead. Temporary bans on military-style semi-automatic and assault weapons are already in place, and legislation prohibiting their purchase will be introduced next week, the Prime Minister said. Again, what is an assault weapon? And pretty much all weapons are semi-automatic, except for like shotguns and a few type of weapons like that. What does that even mean? Military style makes no sense. Autumn will attend Friday service to remember the 50 people who died and 48 injured when the government opened fire on worshippers at the Masjid Al-Noor and Linwood Masjid on March 15th, the worst mass shooting in New Zealand's history. And you're following the person's rule book, and you're putting people in jail for sharing said manifesto and streams, which is awesome. Really, really awesome. I mean, you're becoming Britain, or joining the rest of Britain, by going door to door and knocking on people's doors, telling them, "Hey, you got that free speech license, mate." That's what this is. Oh my god! And Australian Premier Scott Morrison, Governor General Sir Peter Cosgrove, and opposition leader Bill Shorten will be among delegates from 59 countries at the event, the focus of one Christchurch's largest ever security operations. Honor said she and Morrison have been frequent in contact since the terror attack, with Australia providing 85 police staff and victim identification staff. The pair, along with Shorten, will hold bilateral talks after the service. Leaders. Well, this was basically just talking about the event. Oh, here you have the last 3 paragraphs of quotes. "We have never been free of racism.